Hey everybody, it's Chris Eads, known online as Wootini, here with another Gay Gamer video podcast. Starting with I want to say a quick movie review, except I don't think it'll be quick because I have a lot of ranting to do. I went to see Jurassic World Dominion, which is the big grand finale of the two Jurassic trilogies, and it was not. It wasn't grand. It was disappointing. I wasn't thrilled. Jurassic World was fine, you know, like what if they opened the park and everything went wrong as expected and like you had thousands of guests and dinosaurs attacked. So they just took the premise and made it even bigger. And I'm like, okay, fair. And then Fallen Kingdom was disappointing because it felt like it was all set up for the next movie, because they basically take the dinosaurs off the island and bring them over to America, and now they're gonna, you know, dinosaurs will exist with people. And I'm like, that is a great concept. I've been waiting since the very beginning. Like in Lost World, they brought the T-Rex to San Diego, but it was only for like 10 minutes and it was kind of lame and it didn't amount to anything. But it planted that seed in my head of like, oh my god, can we just do a Jurassic Park movie where the dinosaurs get off the island and are like in cities and towns and like attacking people in the street, and like that's awesome, and there's the great possibilities there. So that's what I was thinking this movie was going to be, and some of it was. There was a little bit of it where you saw dinosaurs interacting with people, and like that was interesting, but they didn't do anything with that, you know? They basically take the characters and send them off to the mountains where it's basically like this preserve, which is like its own little island full of dinosaurs where they have to run around and try to survive. And it's like, no, we've done that like so many times. Can we do something different? They did try to do something different. There's a whole chunk of the movie where it basically becomes a Jason Bourne movie with dinosaurs. There's a whole Jason Bourne chase scene with dinosaurs and raptors and like running along rooftops and everything, and it's ridiculous as all hell, but at least that's something different. So it was kind of dumb, but at least they were trying something different. But the whole thing, it just was sort of disappointing. And also, bringing back like Laura Dern and Sam Neill, they managed to take this lousy script and imbue their characters with, you know, something extra, and there's something there. They bring something more to their roles, as opposed to like Chris Pratt and Bryce Dallas Howard, who are like sleepwalking through the whole thing to collect their paycheck. And I'm like, they're not strong enough to build a trilogy around where they're in every movie being boring, you know? You need actors like Sam Neill, Laura Dern, like Julianne Moore and William H. Macy, like, that can actually, you know, bring a little something to it. So yeah, it was kind of disappointing. It wasn't really exciting. The CGI is terrific, but it's not like scary or thrilling. It's just sort of, it all just sort of unfolds and you're just like, okay, nah. So it was disappointing. Also disappointing, I saw it in IMAX 3D, and the 3D was practically non-existent. Like, there were clearly shots where like dinosaurs and like guns and stuff are like supposed to be coming out of the screen, and there were shots with like depth that should have been deep and impressive, and they only pushed it like to here, and it's like, what's the point of this? Because the kids were oohing and eyeing over the Avatar trailer, because the 3D in that is phenomenal, and then like, you know, the IMAX opening where everything's like coming, you know, out of the screen at you, and then you have this movie where it's like, meh. And I'm just like, you know, no one's going to pay extra for a 3D ticket if the 3D isn't worth it. And if you do half-ass conversions like this, it's not worth it. So, I say this as a big 3D fan, you don't have to see it in 3D, because it's not really that impressive. Sorry. As for games, I have been playing Shenmue 2. I am still playing it. I thought I was going to finish it. That didn't quite happen. First, to rescue the guy that you need to rescue, you have to fight people, like 3 people. I thought you could get away with just fighting 1, but you have to fight 3. And one of them was surprisingly annoying. He's wearing an eye patch, and every time you fight him and you're not doing any damage, it's like, oh, that must be his blind spot. I should get into his blind spot. But every time I tried, like, it just wasn't working. And I'm just like, what the hell am I doing wrong? And then I realized I'm going to my left, not his left. So as soon as I started dodging to the right and punching him from that side, it was easy peasy. Duh. So I felt like an idiot. But then you beat these 3 guys and it's like, okay, now you have to beat these 3 guys. And he gives you these pictures. And then you have to find them. And the first fight, you need a $500 entry fee. And I was like, because I had $60 again. So I found where there's gambling, and I was able to do that gambling game again and get the $500 so I could fight him. And then every time you beat him, so you end up with 1,000, which is the entry fee for the next one. So you get 2,000, which is the entry fee for the third one. So it's fine. You just had to worry about it the one time, and then your winnings from each fight, as long as you win the fight, which you have to continue the game, as long as you win the fight, you get to go on to the next fight. And I was super impressed with myself in the final fight because when you're fighting her, like, I was winning, and I got her right to the edge of the ring out, and then there was a quick time event, and I went, fuck, and I went, and I managed to do it, and I was very proud of myself, and I was like, yay me, because I'm not great with the quick time events. Then you fight your way to the top of this building, which is full of fights, quick time events, even some stealth, which was unusual for Shenmue. And then you have this big boss fight, and I realized very soon after that boss fight that wasn't going to be the real boss fight. There would be another one because you still had to fight stupid Don Yu. The problem is that with these boss fights, it's like you fight them, and then when you get them down to the end of their health, then there's a quick time event. And if you fail that quick time event, you have to redo the entire fight. Thankfully, the first guy, they were fine, and then at the end, he had there was this crazy quick time event, and I failed it, and I was like, fuck, now I gotta do the whole fight again. But it didn't. It brought me back to the beginning of that quick time event, so I was like, yay. Thank God there was a little cutscene in between to reset and autosave or whatever, so I don't have to redo the whole 2 fights with him. The final fight against Don Yu, however, multiple quick time events. If you failed any of them, you had to redo the entire fight, which is super tedious because he's big and he takes a lot of beating to bring him down to nothing. So, but I eventually did that, and I thought, yay, now here comes the final cutscene, we'll wrap up the story and set up the sequel. That never happened, except now it did, so yay. But, no. You have to go to some village in the middle of the mountains in China, and it's like, what? And then it's like, okay. So I thought, okay, so it's just a little bit like an epilogue, and we'll go to this village and we'll have a cutscene there, and that'll end with the setup for the next sequel. No! This is like the longest freaking epilogue. Like, nothing is happening. You're just walking to this village with this girl who's like, oh, I'll show you, I live there, I'll take you to my village. And you're just like walking, talking. There's conversation options, so, you know, to keep you doing some pressing of buttons. There's some quick time events to jump across rivers, collecting sticks for building a fire. Like, it's just such padding. So it's a little frustrating, not crazy about it. So I don't know, but I'm feeling like I got to a point where they're like, oh look, it's the spider tree. It's a tree, and it looks like a spider, and it kind of does. And this is the halfway point to my village. And I'm like, we're only halfway there? Oh my god, it's been hours. So I had to stop. And so I'll probably finish it. I'm sure there's only a little more to go, maybe just another hour or two. So I am about to finish it in the next day or two, which means I have to come up with another game to buy. And I was very excited. I saw there's a sale going on in the PlayStation Network right now, and Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order is on sale. I think I get an extra discount because it's PS Plus. It's like $9.57 or whatever, so I'm like, oh, that's exceptionally cheap. $10 is like really good. So, like, I've heard good things about it, and I've been wanting to play it, and I'm like, for $10, you really can't say no. The problem is that I am going to buy it now while it is on sale before it jumps back up to $30 or $40 or whatever. Because then I would have to wait for yet another sale, and I'm like, let me just grab it now. This is probably the lowest it's ever going to get, unless it becomes a PS Plus game for free, but I don't think that's going to happen. So I'm like, alright. Although after I buy it, it will. So if you've been waiting, you're welcome, because I'm about to make it free after I spend $10 on it. But I'm not going to play it next, after I finish Shenmue 2, because a few weeks ago I bought Pokemon Legends Arceus, and it has been sitting here waiting to be played this whole time. Because I didn't want to get involved in it, because I knew if I got all wrapped up in Pokemon, then I would never finish Shenmue 2. And I was determined that this time I'm playing Shenmue 2, I am going to finish it this time. Because I didn't finish it on the Dreamcast, I'm going to finish it here on the PS4. So Pokemon has been waiting patiently. That's my next game. But we will see what happens with Pokemon, because I tend to, when I play Pokemon games, I get bored because it's the same gameplay over and over again, and it just gets really repetitive. But this is a different one. This is a different kind of gameplay. It's the open world thing where you're like observing the Pokemon and catching them and doing things and whatever. So it isn't I'm hoping it's not exactly the same Pokemon game as all the others, and that this one will be more entertaining and I will enjoy it more, and I won't get bored of it halfway through. But if I do get bored of it, there's Star Wars waiting in my PlayStation library for me. So, come back next episode for final thoughts on Shenmue 2, if that epilogue does actually end. And then first impressions on Pokemon. Bye!